Who threw his body and heart in every play, thrilled the crowds when he had the ball, was a trendsetter admired by millions? Allen Iverson, the answer. At barely 6 feet tall, AI was a 4-time scoring champion and won the MVP in 2001.
Can the story of basketball be told without Allen Iverson?
No.
It's time for y'all to play that song. Let's make this noise and get this party jumping.
Iverson, the backdoor cut. What a play by Allen Iverson! The MVP trots to the sideline, asking from the fans, let me hear ya.
I saw the tape, and you saw a warrior mentality, and I love warriors. And at the time, we were looking at Allen Iverson, Stephon Marbury, Marcus Camby. But AI's workout was pretty intense. Even though he didn't want to work out, it was pretty intense. But to see him on the court, and under someone like a John Thompson, a tough, powerful guy, and to give him a full rein, a long leash on him, and let him play like that, and sparkle the crowds, that's what we needed here in Philadelphia. That's what I know I needed to turn this franchise around.
It's the war tonight. My baby going to battle.
Putting the speed on.
Coming through with the answer.
Raw lightning.
I don't know anybody who was as competitive as he was, and as much as people talk about his scoring, and he wants to score now. He wants to win as much, and that was one of the things that I had a great deal of respect for him. His scoring was not an individual thing where he was selfishly concerned if you lost. If Allen scored 30 points or 40 points and we lost a ball game, he was mad and hurt by that, and that always impressed me.
I wear number 3 for a few reasons, and one of them is Allen Iverson. AI had me in my driveway want to do the high crossover like every other kid in the world. And my first preseason game of my career was in Puerto Rico. We were playing against Philadelphia. First person I see when I walk into the hotel, it was a part of the casino, was Allen Iverson. And I remember just being so scared to play against AI. But I actually had a good preseason game, but AI didn't play much. But my first regular season game in the NBA, in Philly, against Allen Iverson, starting point guard. And I was scared as hell. But I was so excited again because I'm like, I get to go up against one of my idols right off the bat. And I started the game out good. I remember that. Now, we didn't win. AI probably had way more points than me. I think I had like 18 and a few other stats. But just to be able to watch him on the court, I remember watching kids go crazy for his shoes when we were in high school, right? Like when he first came out with the red toe, with the blue tip, the red tip. When he came out with those, I didn't have them, but I remember watching everybody in my high school, he was the coolest thing, man. And so to get an opportunity to see him on the court and see him and be like, yo, he's the coolest dude. He got the braids, he got the, the arm sleeve, he got the tats, he got the swagger, and he got the game to back it up. Just a lot of great battles. And he pushed me. I had a couple games where I had 40 versus, Philly, because he pushed me to want to be on the level, of greatness. And he always told me, you wearing number 3, you better rep that number. And I tried to rep it.
It's time to get down.
Iverson putting against Ryder, loses Ryder, comes in deep. Following 8-footer, good! What a show! Drive, pulls up in the paint, too strong, no! Allen Iverson! Are you kidding me? Wow. That's a point guard, folks.
One of the biggest memories for me was the night they played the Bulls. I was there when he crossed up MJ, and everybody was waiting for that matchup the whole night.
Iverson has Jordan. The crowd is into it. Allen shakes free, gets 2! Well, the crowd loves that. Mike said no. Allen said yes.
Everybody just freaked out. He crossed over Jordan. Oh my God.
Trying to guard this guy is like trying to hold water in the palm of your hand. Let's see what Anthony does. Forget about it. Iverson for 2.
Love LA, man. That's where the stars at. That's where the stars are born.
I heard that, but it's
born in Virginia too.
In the 2001 finals, my team, we were on a roll to possibly do 16-0. We knew that it was going to be a tough challenge. And Phil asked us,
you want to double Allen Iverson? And all my guards said no, because we went through the Spurs, we went through Portland, we went through Sacramento. We were ready. We know what we had to do. And we let him go off in that game one.
Court skip is picked off by Iverson. Down the floor he goes against O'Neal. Allen find a big man. Scoop layup is good. A foot race. The tortoise and the hare. Steal by Iverson. Back on Bryant. Easy layup.
Went to overtime, and I think he hit us for 50. And we weren't upset that he hit us for 50. We were upset because now we got to go 16-1. We wanted to have the perfect season, the perfect record, but the way he played, he just kept coming and kept coming and kept coming.
He fires 2 ball, got it again. He's way too good. Sixers shock the world with a Game 1 victory here over the world champion Los Angeles Lakers.
My first game against him was preseason game in the Forum. I knew he was the #1 pick. I didn't know his game at the time, right? The Houston Rockets were in town, and there was another team in town. And so Sam Cassell was one of my good friends. He was sitting on the floor because they had just played. It was like a little tournament that the Lakers would always have in preseason. And Sam, if anybody knows Sam, they know son, you know, he got a left to right crossover, son, left to right crossover, son. And when I tell you that, man, AI hit me with that left to right crossover, and I was still going right, and he was like 5 feet going. I was still going to my right, and he was like going to my left. I can hear Sam. He just dying laughing. So next play down the court, I get on the island again. Same exact move, the left to right. And I'm over here, and I said, what the hell is he doing? AI was so special because he was so little. Like, as his career took off, it's like this dude is like 5'10", 5'11", 130 pounds wet, and going into paint, banging with these dudes, dunking on guys, finishing over guys, finger rolling. He was so quick, man, that if you wasn't ready for AI that night, you was gonna get embarrassed.
Pound for pound, inch for inch, Allen Iverson was the greatest scorer in NBA history. You had to try to guard him.
Oh, man, I got to tell you, for a guy to be 6 foot, 165 pounds, I don't know that there's ever been anybody more physically intimidating than Allen Iverson. When he took the floor, he was relentless at attacking to score the basketball. Most guys, you know, you might have a couple minutes stretch here or there where they're not looking to be aggressive. He was on go all the time. And, boy, I tell you what, you better get a good night of sleep the night before going up against Allen Iverson, because he was going to give you all he had.
Physically, at that size, what made him so difficult to stop?
Well, he had incredible ball handling skills, tremendously athletic, just ultra quick as well. And then when you combine that with the mindset that he had to attack and attack relentlessly, you know, so much of the actions that they ran were to get him in a position to attack. And he was just amazing. And then defensively, he's a guy that loved to get out in the passing lanes and get steals and get out in transition. And it was just the mindset with which he brought. You know, all the truly great ones have it. It's just you weren't used to seeing a guy that slight of build that possessed that same kind of mindset. But I tell you, that there just weren't many guys that put as much pressure on an opposing defense. Whenever you got isolated out on that island with Allen Iverson, man, I'm telling you, your heart was in your stomach. It was just one of the more uncomfortable feelings one would ever have. Because as a defender, there's not just a chance you're going to get scored on. No. There's a pretty good chance you could get embarrassed in the process. Yeah, I got crossed up quite a few times. And I was okay with it only because I saw him cross up Michael Jordan a few times and all these other guys. I mean, that killer crossover he had, he and Tim Hardaway were the guys that kind of redefined the crossover. And Allen just, again, he was just so amazing. And I found myself, even when I was in the league playing, you know, if he was playing, I wanted to watch, you know, because it was always entertaining. And the guy just played with as much passion and fire as anybody that I'd ever seen. What can you say when it comes to the league's great small scorers? There's only one answer.
If you can't get going in this type of game, there's a problem, man. As long as you leave everything out on the basketball court, you can go in the locker room and look at the mirror and feel good about yourself, and that's important.
Allen Iverson's from the state of Virginia. I'm from Virginia. I'm from Northern Virginia. He's from southern part of Virginia, the Newport News area, Hampton. I had heard about him and his greatness before I ever saw him. The crazy thing was it wasn't even really about his ability as a basketball player. It was about him as a football player.
15-yard line. Iverson moves to the inside. He's got some kind of quickness. He may go all the way. This is what happens. Allen Iverson has just returned the kickoff. The man can beat you so many different ways.
What do you got to say as a junior to come and win a state championship? It's got to feel pretty good.
I'm going to go get one in basketball now, that's all.
Okay.
And they said this kid never came off the field, played safety, quarterback, ran back kicks, was on special teams. But I remember hearing like every time he touched the ball, no matter where he was on the field, he was a threat to score a touchdown. Like that's how incredible, that's how dynamic he was. And I used to see clips and footage and not even knowing he played basketball. You know, a lot of people from back home have said that he could have had the same success if he chose, you know, to go the football route. He was that good, that talented, that athletic, that dynamic. And I think that mentality as a football player, which is necessary at any level in football to be successful, I think really helped him at his size in a league at the time where there was physicality. There were big men in the paint. They weren't hovering around the three-point line. But that mentality, that toughness, relentlessness that he played with, his attack mode was always on, was absolutely incredible.
I always play with my heart. You know, I play with my heart first, you know, because I feel like that's all I got.